Hey everybody, welcome back to Guns and Gadgets, your premier source for Second Amendment news. I want to talk to you about Georgia and just how important that state's two U.S. Senate runoffs is to the future of the nation, specifically about the Second Amendment, but a lot more things depend on that as well. With me, I have our friend, Jordan Stein, who is the Director of Communications for Gun Owners of America. He is actually in Georgia, day 5, if I'm correct. And he is working his tail off to try to get people to understand what is at stake and to get people to come out and vote. So, Jordan, thank you for your time, dude. I know how busy you are. And for those who don't know, this is actually take 2. We tried this last night, and the internet was not our friend. So thank you again for making time for this.
No worries. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to get on your platform and get our message out.
So give folks an idea of most people know about GOA, but there could be a lot of people who just find this because of the runoffs. So give people a quick rundown of what Gun Owners of America is, what they do, and why you are in Georgia.
So GOA is a national Second Amendment organization, and we advocate for the right to keep and bear arms without compromise. That means we never give an inch on the Second Amendment. And we actually believe the Second Amendment means what it says. Shall not be infringed means shall not be infringed. And that's why, we oppose gun control in all forms, whether that's like the National Firearms Act or a concealed carry permit. We're the original group to advocate for constitutional carry. And for over 40 years, we've been in the trenches fighting for the Second Amendment. And now we're really facing one of the most difficult challenges, biggest threats to our rights with the makeup of the Senate and these Georgia runoff elections. For those that may not have known, Georgia, if you don't get 50% of the vote, the election goes to a runoff, and that's how both of the Senate races ended up. So the way the Senate has broken down, there are 50 Republican seats and 48 Democrat seats. And so if Republicans lose this election and the two Democrats, who I'm sure we'll talk about are not friends to the Second Amendment, to take over and have a 50-50 split, then Kamala Harris, who we can only assume to be our next vice president, will cast the tie-breaking votes, and the Democrats and anti-gunners can pass all of their gun control measures, and we can't stop them. So that's why these elections are super important. That's why I am here in Georgia, knocking on doors, making phone calls, getting out the vote, and that's why I need the viewers' help.
Absolutely. And if you're new to the channel, you might not be aware, but you can join Gun Owners of America as a viewer of this channel at a discounted rate. The money doesn't come to me. I take zero out of it, bupkis. But what it does is it gives you guys and gals a discount on whatever type of membership you choose. That link is on the screen right now. It's gunowners.org/gunsgadgets. It helps you become a member. You're helping the fight, and it also saves you a little bit of cake, which I always ask people to turn around and donate if they can. There's a lot of money being spent in Georgia. The opposition, the Democrat Party, the Bloombergs, the Soroses, the estimates have now gone over $2 billion in what they are putting into their two candidates to basically secure their version of the future of America, which is why this is so important. So, Jordan, if you could give folks a rundown of the two Republican candidates and why we should vote for them if somebody's undecided.
So if you're a gun owner, if you're a Second Amendment advocate, if you're one of the new gun owners, the millions of new gunners who bought a gun this year, who cares about their self-defense and takes it personally, you really don't have much of a choice if that's your issue when it comes to this election. Warnock and Osloff are both proven anti-gunners. Warnock said he's a pastor, but he doesn't want his parishioners carrying in his church.
Right.
And then with Osloff, he supports a whole litany of gun control. It's right on his website. The most concerning to me that he supports is red flag laws, which is essentially gun confiscation. I know Jared's talked about this a lot, but that's essentially where someone goes to a judge and they say, so-and-so is dangerous. I don't want him having a gun. And then the police come up and they come to take your guns, and there's no due process. There's nothing, no chance for you to take to say your own side, to give your defense. But And that's what they support. And if you're even if you're a Democrat, but you're a new gun owner or you're independent or whatever, if you care about self-defense, you have to, vote for Perdue and Loeffler, because those are the candidates who understand it. They get it. They're not going to vote to ban your AR-15s. They're not going to vote for, red flag gun confiscation or universal background checks or any of that nonsense. That they will stand firm on the right to keep and bear arms, and that's why they're gun owners' choice candidates.
And I'll go one step further. I do know several people who own guns, shoot, love the second, and they vote Democrat. We, like I always say, we can have differences of opinion and still be on the same team. But the Democrat Party now is driven by banning guns, confiscating guns, instituting violations of our rights with the red flag. It's tough for us who are very pro 2A, those of us who are advocates, to understand why somebody might continue to vote for the party that looks to strip us of our rights. So my hope is that if you're watching and you happen to vote Democrat, maybe have an open mind to some of the things you're going to hear tonight, because the future of the second is very disturbing if the Democrats win both of these seats. So Jordan, I know you're tied in a lot with this. So Senator Perdue, he's the senior senator there. And we know his record because he's established. He's fairly solid for the second. But Kelly Loeffler, tell the folks about Senator Loeffler and how she got her position and some of the bills that she's co-sponsored, because it was eye-opening for me when I found out about it.
Yeah, so Loeffler has been a very pleasant surprise to this for gun owners in the Second Amendment. She's been an advocate for concealed carry reciprocity, suppressor deregulation, and that's excellent. She also called out the ATF recently called out the ATF when they released their October surprise on the honey badger situation. She wrote a letter to the ATF saying, you don't have the authority to do this, and you need to get yourself in line. And that was, completely unprovoked. She did that on her own, and that's great to hear. And so I think she could make an excellent senator. She was appointed. That's why she hasn't won re-election yet. But I think she could make a fantastic senator just by her gut reaction on that issue.
Could you let the folks know? I know you're, like I said, you're very tied in and you're very busy, so I don't want to take too much of your time. But who are the major entities that are backing Ossoff and Warnock?
Well, it's the usual suspects, right? You have Bloomberg's groups, the Moms Demand, Everytown, that they have came out in full support of Warnock and Ossoff. I've seen where you have the Soros, funneling money through his channels to support them. So it's we know the names, we know who they are, but again, they're doing everything they can to take over the Senate essentially, and then transform our country. And I think we have to stop that.
And what could somebody do to help you if they live in Georgia or in the area? We'll talk about that first, and then people who aren't in the area. But somebody's close, how can they help?
So as I alluded to, if you live in Georgia or neighboring state, or heck, if you want to come to Georgia and travel, I was talking to a guy the other day, and he wanted to come from Idaho to Georgia to help out. But what we're doing here is we have an on-the-ground get out the vote effort. And the way we do that is by knocking doors. I have 10,000 of these handouts, door knockers, that explain pretty much what we're talking about right now. And we go out and we knock on doors. I was doing it earlier today. It's not very hard, and you just knock on the door, and if they come up, we have a whole script for what to say, and then you give them the literature and move on to the next one. And that truly makes a difference in activating the people who we're trying to turn out. And we're specifically targeting really hardcore gun owners, and then on the other side, the independent gun owners and Democrat gun owners. Because we know that, like, the Republican Party and the campaigns, they're going to target the base. So we want to make the biggest impact on people who may not be reached by those places. So I've had a good response so far, actually, in the door knocking we've done. But look, if there's just one of me doing this, I can only do so many. But we need more and more people. So if you can go to gunowners.org/volunteer and sign up for that webpage. and give us your information. We will contact you and we will get you plugged into door knocking. We also have some days of action coming up. The next one is coming up on December 5th. We'll be in the Atlanta area as well as in Savannah. And that will be, whole days of action. We'll get together and we'll train you. We'll give you all the tools you need, and then we'll go out and we'll knock doors and we'll make a difference. If you're not in Georgia, or you can't come out and door knock, you can also make phone calls. We have an app and a script and everything you need to do that. You're not using your own cell phone number or your own number, so you don't have to worry about that. And again, this is all about voter contact and voter mobilization to get out the vote. And I look at this and I'm like, the Second Amendment is worth knocking a few doors. It is worth taking an hour a week and making phone calls. If you care about self-defense, if you care about being able to conceal carry or own an AR-15 or anything like that, it is worth your time, effort, and money. And that's why I'm asking you to join us and to join us in this effort to save the Senate and save the country.
Absolutely. And if you're somebody in the area who's watching this and you're thinking, you know what, I don't have a lot of money, I really can't help out. Volunteering for a couple hours is absolutely worth more than a $5 bill. So if you're in the area and you own a gun, being in the area is in the state of Georgia or the surrounding areas, you can absolutely help educate the vote and get people out to vote. It is imperative that we no longer be the silent majority, because we saw what happened recently
Absolutely.
with that. So again, I'm going to have those two websites. There's another website I actually want Jordan to talk to you about. They'll be linked down below. They have another web page that I'm going to tell you about, and it goes over the records of each one of the candidates, because we're talking about it here, but there's more information there, and there's a lot of research and thought that went into that page. You can read into things, you can look at bills that people have signed or co-signed. So there's a lot of information there for you if you want to educate yourself more on the candidates.
And what is really encouraging is I know there are people on both sides, but especially on the pro-gun side, who are coming in from out of state. I don't live in Georgia, but I'm here. I know our friends at Grassroots North Carolina are coming down to help get out the vote. I know there are people from all over the country coming in to do it. So if you're in the area, if you're in the South, the Southeast, come to Georgia. No matter where you are, if you can, if you have the means, if you have the availability, please do it. The Second Amendment is worth it.
Absolutely. And I always tell people, support those who support you. If you're not aware of the work that GOA does, I have numerous videos on my site. It's not hard to look up information on them online. GOA does a ton of work to fight back against the tyranny, and they are asking us to help them. And if you don't have $10-20 to spare, have a half a day to spare, please. It's not often that people reach out for help, and when they do, I believe we should all rise up and do what we can. Jordan, anything else you think people need to know about what I know you're very busy and you're taking time out to do this for a second time, so I'm very humbled. Thank you. Is there anything else you think folks need to know?
Subscribe to Guns and Gadgets. Jared, I know everyone at GOA watches your videos, and we're very grateful to the platform that you give to pro-gunners and the strong stand you take for the Second Amendment. So just a big thank you from GOA, and if you're not subscribed, you need to subscribe. Absolutely.
Thanks, dude. That wasn't planned, but thank you. I appreciate it. All right, guys. You all know what you need to do. You know what you should do. I'll have the information linked down below. I'll make it as easy as pie. I'll also have the links to both senators' websites and their official campaign site, because they are different. If you want to do any more research, or if you'd like to reach out to the candidates' campaign and work with them as well, I'll have all that info down there to make it easy peasy lemon squeezy. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for your time. I am humbled to be able to bring you this information, and I hope that you take this information and run with it. Please share it with everybody you know, especially if you're in Georgia, because this runoff election, which is going to be January 5th, 2021, absolutely shapes the future of the country, and more specifically, the Second Amendment. So please help us if you can. Until we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, carry a weapon. Take care, everybody.